This is not just a UI tutorial. We are connecting the Flutter app with a Claude AI and building something that feels like a real product. So now let me show you that how our app will look alike by the end of this video and which Flutter app we are going to develop by using a Claude AI. So you can see that this is the home page of our app, and where it has just shown the image, discover what's inside your food, upload an image, get ingredients, calories, macros, and using AI. So basically I'm going to just upload the image of a food item, and I'll just tell a Claude AI to give me the ingredients, the calories, macros, carbs, proteins, and all the things that the food has. So it's going to just read the image and we are going to get these details. Okay, so let me first tap to this and it's going to open the phone gallery from where I'm going to just upload the food item. So you can see this. Now I'm going to click to this analyze with AI button and it's loading. So you can see that the AI has just read the complete detail about that food item. It simply says that crispy chicken sandwich, and it has told the calorie that how much it has. It's like up to 550 to 700 kilocalorie. The protein is like 20 to 30, 25 to 30 grams. 55 to 65 gram is carbs. 25 to 35 gram is fat. The ingredients that this item has is sesame seed bun, breaded fried chicken patty, tomato, onion, cheese, mayonnaise, pickle, wheat flour, vegetable oil, eggs, and breadcrumbs. Okay, so these are all the ingredients that this food item has. So we are going to use a Claude AI in this Flutter app, and I'm going to tell you the complete process, like how we are going to do this. So without any delay, let's get started. You can see that this is the UI that we have created for our home page, from where we are going to just upload the food image. Right now this is the code that I've written over here. Now this is the simple UI code that you usually see on my channel, so it's nothing much you need to worry about, because I think so you already have an idea like how to just write a UI. The main thing is that how we are going to integrate the AI and the complete process of getting the thing from the API. So that's a main thing that we need to understand over here. So I'm going to show you the code first. Like this is the code that we have just written for the UI. You can just pause a video and can write a code as well. Now here what I'm going to do is that first thing that I'm going to teach you is that how we are going to pick the image from the phone gallery. So first thing is that we need to move to the perspec.ml file, and in the perspec.ml file just move to the camera. You need to add a camera package in the dependency folder. Okay, if you want to pick the image from a phone camera. But the second thing is that image picker I've used. Right now, as I've told you that we are going to upload the image from the phone gallery, so I'm not going to add the camera feature right now, because in the emulator if we add a camera feature, that's not going to work because you can't click the picture from the emulator. So that's why I'm going to upload the image from a phone gallery. Okay, now this is the thing that we have done, and you can see that we have just write a pick image function from where the user going to pick the image, and then we are going to show the image once the image has been picked. Okay, now I've used the file image because as you know that once we pick the image from the phone gallery, that will be in the form of file. So we need to get that in an image file, and we have just wrote a image picker function. I think so it's very clear to understand the small things. Now once we pick the image, we need to show the picked image over here. Okay, so to do that I'm going to just do one thing. Like here, if we have the image, like if the image is not null, then we are going to just show the picked image. And as I've told you that our picked image is in the form of file, so just to read that image I need to write image.file. I think so it's clear, right? So I just need to write image.file and we need to read the picked image. Okay, now once we do this, now we can just tap to this analyze with AI button and can just navigate to the result page dot. Now here comes a main thing is that I am going to teach you like how we are going to integrate a Claude API or Claude AI in our Flutter app. Okay, now to show that image I am going to just need that from the past page. So I just need to write final and we need to write file, and we need to get that image. So I'm going to just write image, something like this. Now here I'm going to just use constant. Then here I'm going to write the ultra result screen, and we need to get that key. So I need to write super dot key, and we need to pass a required function because we need that image, then only user can move to this page. So I'm going to pass something like this. Now once we get the image, then what I need to do is that here I need to write image.file rather than network. So I'm going to write image.file, and we are going to just pass image file. So here I'm going to just write widget.image, something like this. Okay, so once we pass the image, now here in the result page, what I need to do is that get the food name, then the calories, proteins, carbs, and then a fat. Okay, so we just need to pass the image, and the AI will read that what really that image is. So we are going to just maintain all the things, right? So first I'm going to write a string, and in the string I'm going to just write food name. We are going to keep it space, and then we need the another things, which is like we need a calories. So I'm going to just write a calories, and the third thing is like protein. So I'm going to write protein, and fourth one is like carbs. So I'm going to just write carbs, and then the last one is on fat. So I'm going to just write a fats. Okay, so once we do this, now here I'm going to just create a list. In the list I'm going to just write a string. Okay, and then I'm going to get the ingredients. As I told you that we need to also display the ingredients, so something like this. Okay, so this is the thing that we have done. Now here I'm going to just create a function which is like an analyze image. Now inside this analyze image function, I'm going to write a code to call a Claude API, right? So I'm going to just write a future void, then I'm going to pass like analyze image, something like this. Now once we do this, now here I need to write async, and we need to pass a try and a catch. As I've told you that before, that what really the try catch is. So try catch is a function where we are going to first run with some command in a try, and we are going to catch the error if we get any error. Okay, so in the try we are going to pass some API calls, and if that API calls is not working, then we are going to catch that error by using a try and a catch function, right? Now I just need to write a final, and we need to write bytes. Okay, final bytes is equals to await widget dot image dot read as bytes. Now you will say that Shivam, why we are doing this? Now as I've told you that the AI can't read the image directly because that is in the form of file. We need to just convert that image into the form of text. Now that work is simply being done in the form of byte. Okay, so we need to convert that image in the form of byte or in the form of text, so that the AI can read that image. You can't pass a image directly in the API in the form of JPG or in PNG. Okay, you need to convert that in the form of byte or in text. I think so it's clear, right? Now I just need to write a final, and in the final I'm going to just convert that to a base 64 image. Okay, so I'm going to write base 64 image, and base 64 encode will just encode that image that is in the form of byte. Okay, so we are converting the image in the form of byte or in the form of text, so that we can pass that to the API, right? Now I just need to write final, and we need to get a response. So I'm going to write a response is equals to await, and then I'm going to write http dot post. We are going to use a post method. Now here, if you haven't added a http link, you just need to add that http link. So let's add a http link from here. Let's run this, and let's call this. Okay, so we are going to call an http. So I'm going to use http dot post method, right? Now once we pass this, now here I'm going to write URI dot parse. So I'm going to write URI dot parse, and then I need to pass the URL link that is in the form of HTTP link. So I'm going to write HTTP, and then I'm going to write API anthropic. Okay, now I'm going to write anthropic.com, and we are going to write v1, and we need to write messages. Okay, now you will say that Shivam, we are calling a Claude API, why we are calling an anthropic.com, where it come from? Okay, now let me explain you that from where this anthropic come from. So you know that a chat GPT has been developed by a company called OpenAI. Now the Claude is also has been developed by a company named Anthropic. So we need to call an exact Anthropic API to use a Claude API. I think so it's clear. Okay. So you know that once we run a chat GPT AI API, we use an OpenAI API. So the same thing works in the Claude, but the company name is different, which is like an Anthropic. So Anthropic company has developed a Claude, and we need to use an Anthropic API just to call a Claude API. I think that's clear, right? Now once we do this, now here I'm going to pass an header. Okay, now in this header I need to pass an API key first. So I'm going to write X API key. Then I need to pass a API key. Now I'm going to move to the pages folder, and we are going to create a new file name like constant dot dart, and I'm going to write a string, a Claude API. So you just need to use your API key over here. You just need to paste the API key. Like you can just move to the official website of an Anthropic, and you can just sign up there and can get an API key, and we can use the API key over here. You just need to paste the API key, and once we paste that, I'm going to write like this, like an Claude API, and then I need to use an Anthropic version. So I need to write Anthropic. Make sure the spelling should be correct. If there will be any mismatch, it will simply throw the error. So I'm going to write 2023 0601. Okay, so this is the Anthropic version that we need to pass. Okay, now I just need to write a content type, and in the content type I need that in the JSON form. So I need to write application / JSON. It's clear? Okay, so we have just passed an API key, the Anthropic version, the content type. So this is how we just need to call an API. So that's why I'm writing this. Now here I need to get a body, and in the body I'm going to write JSON encode. Okay, so I'm going to encode this. Now in the JSON encode I'm going to pass like a model. Now here comes the important thing that you need to understand. In the model, okay, just write that inside a double inverted comma model. Okay, so here comes the important thing that you need to understand, like what really the model is. Okay, now here in the Claude there is a 3 type of model, right? Which one is like sonnet, opus and haiku. Okay, now don't think that what I'm telling this is not an alien name. This is just a different version that the Claude has. Now this Claude comes with a different version. Some are faster and some are smarter, right? Now let me explain you one by one. Like sonnet is a balanced one, and it is good for most of the apps. Opus is the smartest, but it is very expensive to use an opus. Haiku is the fastest. It is cheap plus it is quick, right? So we are going to use the model version according to the need. Also it heavily depend on your budget, right? If you want to use an opus, which is very smartest but it is also very expensive, haiku is the fastest, it is cheap but it is quick. Okay, now sonnet is that which is completely balanced thing, like it is the smartest one, it is also very budget friendly, it is also good for most of the apps. Like if you want to run an MVP app, you can use a sonnet version, right? So the version that I'm going to use over here is Claude Sonnet 4520250929. Okay, so this is the exact version that I'm going to use in the Claude, and I'm using a sonnet because as I told you that sonnet is very balanced one. It is usually good for most of the apps, so we can use a sonnet, right? Now once we pass a model, we need to pass a max token. Now here comes a max token, like up to how much text I need the reply from a API. So I'm going to just write 300, right? Now I just need to pass a messages that here the role is, so I'm going to just write role is user. So I'm going to write role is user, and then I need to write a content. So I'm going to write a content. In the content I'm going to pass the type. Okay, we need, in the type I need to pass the image. So I'm going to write a type first, and we are passing the image of that food item. So I'm going to pass the image. So the type is image. Now the source, so I'm going to just write a source. Now in the source what I need to do is that I need to use a type which is in the base 64. Don't write JPG or PNG because I'm not going to read the image. So here I'm going to just write base 64, and then I need to just pass a media type. Now in the media type I'll just pass like our image is in the form of JPEG. So I'm going to just write image, and we just need to pass slash JPEG. This is a media type. Then we need to pass a data that we get, and we need to pass a base 64 image. I think so it's clear, right? Now once we do this, I need to pass like this another curly braces. I need to pass a type, and I need to get a text. So I need to write a text, and in the text I'm going to write another text, and here I need to write a prompt. Now what is a prompt is? Now this is one of the important thing that you need to understand in an AI API call, or whenever you are using an AI. Now prompt plays a very important role, that if you don't pass a perfect prompt, you won't get a perfect reply from an AI. Just imagine that you go to the restaurant and you just say, give me a food. Now that will be very confusing, and you might get a wrong order, or you might get a best food from that restaurant. That will be not your best food according to your wish, but that is a wrong order, or it will be very confusing for a waiter to understand that what food you are looking for. So I need to just pass a perfect prompt over there, or perfect demand over there, so that I can get a exact food that I'm looking for. So I just need to tell the waiter that give me a veg burger with no onion and extra cheese. Now this is a perfect prompt, or a perfect demand that you are given to the waiter, so that you can get a perfect food according to your need. So that's how it exactly work in the AI. Now to get a perfect result from an AI, we need to pass a perfect prompt. Now that's a thing that you understand. Writing a perfect prompt is very important. Without writing a perfect prompt, you won't get a exact result that you are looking for. I think so it's clear, right? Now here I just need to tell the AI to identify the food and return me the food name, calories, proteins, carbs, fat and ingredients. So I need to pass the prompt on that way. So I'm going to use a multiple string, and then I'm going to write identify the food, okay, and return strictly in this format. I'm telling that please return this on the strict format, so that I can just pass a food name and all accordingly. So I just need to pass strictly in this format. Clear? I need the food name first, so I'm going to write food name like this. Then I need a calories, so I need to write calories like this. I need a protein, so I'm writing a protein. Then I'm writing a carbs, so I'm writing carbs over here. Then I need to write a fat, I'm writing a fat. Then I need to get an ingredient, so I'm writing an ingredients. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let's close this with this, right? So this is the prompt that I have passed, and we are going to just tell that identify the food and return strictly in this format. I need a food name, then a calories, then a protein, carbs and all, right? So let's remove the unknown spacing from here. Protein, carbs, fats and an ingredients, right? Now once we do this, Now once we get an data, now we need to just decode the response that we get from an API. So here I need to just write final data is equals to JSON decode, and we need to get a response that we get. So I need to write response dot body, something like this. Then I need to write final text is equals to data, and we need to get a content first, and then the content 0 and a text. Okay, wait a second. Yeah, okay, text, something like this. Yeah, now here I need to create a function so that I can parse the response that we get, and we need to store that in the string that we have created at the starting. Right now, to do this, I'm going to just write void, and I'm going to write parse response. Okay, then I need to pass the string, the text that we get once we call an API. We need to store that, so I'm going to write food name, and we need to extract that. So for that I need to extract this, because as I've told you many times, like once you call an API, you get the data in the form of star and all, right? So just to manage all the things, I don't need to show the ingredients and all in the form of star, so I need to extract that completely, or I need to refine that completely. So I need to write a string, and we need to just create a function name like a string extract. So I need to first pass a string that will be the text. So I need to write string that will be the text, and then I need to pass a string that will be the key. Okay, now this is the thing, not G, it's like key. Yeah, so this is the thing. Now I just need to write final, and then I need to write this thing like X, and we need to write, sure, yes, we need to pass a source. Our source will be a dollar key. Then I need to pass this, and I don't need any star sign. Wait a second. Yeah, I don't need any dot and all. I don't need any star sign again, something like this. So this is the thing that you need to pass. Okay, now once you pass this, I need to write final match is equals to regex first match with a text. Okay, so once it has been matched with a text, we are going to return, and in the return I'm going to just write match should not be equals to null. If it is true, then we are going to just write match dot group 1, and it's null, then we are going to just get a space. I think so it's clear. Okay, so this is what that we have written. Now we are ready to extract that text. Okay, so I'm going to just extract that from here, because now you might get confused that what you have written, Shivam. I exactly couldn't know this. So you know that once we pass a prompt that we need to get the data on this format, now I need to store the food name to the food string. Now if I don't pass the extract data, like to extract a food name from the text or the string that we get from an API call, how I can store that to the respective string? So I tell that extract the text and the key. Now what is a key? So as I've told you that this is a key and value pair, because this is a key and where we are going to get a value. So I need to pass a key name. So I need to pass the each time a key name to store that in a respective string. Okay, so now make sure that you pass an exact key name, otherwise it will simply throw the error. So I just need to write a food name, then I'm going to do the same thing for the another data. So I just need to write calories, and we need to pass an exact calories. Protein, and this is like protein. Now carbs. Okay, so this is what that we have done just to extract the data from that respective key. Now one thing is left is to get an ingredient. So I need to write final ing is equals to extract the data, and the key is ingredients. But as you know that ingredients is in the form of list, so I need to just write ingredients first, and we need to get that. So I need to write ingredients is equals to, I can't directly store ing like this, it will simply say that the string can't be stored in the form of list. Okay, so for that I need to write ing dot split. Okay, and then I need to split the comma that is in the form of list. I need to write a map, and we need to write e dot trim. So I need to write e dot trim dot to list. Okay, I need to just change that to a list. So I need to write a to list, something like this. Now we have just wrote this parse response extract function. Now we have wrote a complete API call that we need, but we haven't passed a catch till now. So that's why it's simply telling me that please pass a catch as well, so that we can catch an error. Okay, so now in the text I can just write a parse response function. Okay, now let's pass a text. Now here I need to pass the catch error, so I'm going to pass this, and we are going to pass a print e once we get an error. Okay, now we just need to make the set state is loading to false, and we can show the data. So first let me pass the bool loading over here. Bool is loading to false, right? Sorry, we can just make it to true, because as soon as we land to this page we need to make the is loading to true. And once we get in data, we are going to just stop that, and we are going to show the data. I think so it's clear, right? Spelling is wrong. Is loading, yeah, it's correct right now, right? So this is the thing that we have done. Now once we do this, now let's call the in the init state the analyze image function. So let's write analyze image. Do not forget to pass this, otherwise it's not going to work. So let's pass the analyze image function, and once we get in data successfully, now we are going to just show the data. I think so it's very easy to show now, right? So first thing that I need to show is the food name. So where the food name is over here, so I need to just write a string name, food name. Okay, like this. Let's remove this constant from here. Okay, and then we need to show the calories that we get. So I'm going to use a dollar sign just to get a calories, something like this. Let's remove the constant, then protein as well. So let's write protein, it's in the form of gram, carbs, dollar, carbs, then the fats, I need to just write dollar fats. It's done, right? Now this is the thing that we have done. Now we just need to display the ingredients. So in the ingredients, I'm going to do one thing, like I'm going to remove this complete thing, and we need to get the data. So I need to call our ingredient list. So ingredient dot map, and we need to write e, we need to pass then ingredient card, and let's get the data, and we are going to just change that to list. Okay, I think so it's clear to understand all this thing. Now we have just wrote a complete thing, and let's see, let's call a data and let's see how it's working, right? So I'll move back to the home page, and here if image is not is equals to null, we need to just pass this, and if it is, then we are going to push the user to the next screen. So I'm going to write navigator, so dot push, we need to pass material page root, context, and we need to pass a screen name which is like an ultra result screen. So I need to write ultra result screen. Let's pass the image. Okay, something like this. It's a null, so we just need to pass a null check. Let's write image first, null check, right? So this is the thing that we have done. Now hot restart, I think so will not going to work. You just need to stop the app from here and rerun the complete app. So let me do that and we'll get back in app. Now I'm going to show you that how it is working. So I'm going to just tap to this. We are going to upload the image. Click to this analyze with AI, and AI is just analyzing the image. So it simply says that this food item is a crispy chicken sandwich. I think so it's burger, not a sandwich, but still that's AI, like how it works. So it's just say that crispy chicken sandwich. It has a 750 kilocalorie. Protein it has a 28 grams. Carbs have 72 gram. Fat is like 38 gram. And it also tells the ingredients like breaded chicken patty, sesame seed bun, I don't know what it is. Then tomato, onion, pickles, mayonnaise, cheese, and vegetable oils. Okay, so this is what that you can see how the Claude AI is working, and it going to simply give the complete detail about that food item. Also, you can see that it also provide the protein, carbs, fat, and the kilocalorie and the ingredients as well. So if you like that video and if you like my idea, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, because like is also very necessary. I'm noticing that while many of you are loving our videos but haven't hit that like button. So hit that like button and show your support. Until that, keep coding, keep having fun. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.